So fucking Wayland is not ready. I mean, say that, and other people say that, and then you got the usual suspects that say that Wayland's the way and Wayland's the future, and because they're loud as fuck and they get all the views, now we're at a position where Plasma doesn't have X11 in it anymore, and Gnome doesn't have X11 in it anymore. And for example, if you want to run Cache OS right now, for example, and you want to be on X11 just because you want all your shit to fucking work the way that it should work, you got to run Cinnamon, or you got to run XFCE, or Budgie or something, because it's not included anymore. I mean, I was flabbergasted the last time I installed with Plasma, and I went to switch to X11 at the login screen, and it's not even there. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? That's what drove me off Nobara. Like, I'd still be running Nobara, and that brings me back to my other thing is, when you install Cache OS, that gives you the list. It says, what desktop environment do you want to fucking install? And it gives you the list of like fucking all of them. If Pika OS did that, Pika would be number one on the distro watch right now and not Cache. If Nobara had done that, they'd be number one on the distro watch and not Cache. I'm telling you, Cache is number one on the distro watch because of fucking choices like that they made that were just really fucking smart, and it's paid off. When you install it, you don't have to worry about, picking the right did you download the right fucking version for your NVIDIA card, or this fucking other bullshit, or that other bullshit, or did you get the GNOME version, or did you get the KDE version, or did you get the whatever the fuck you want version, or the version you want doesn't actually exist. You just get the fucking ISO and you install it. And when you install it, if you have an NVIDIA card, it just fucking sorts that out for you. If you have an AMD card, it just sorts that out for you. It says, what desktop environment do you want to install? And it shows you a little picture, which granted for some of them doesn't really doesn't give you an indication, because, and that's another frustration point for me, and I mean, it's something, I understand, if I had a laptop sit next to me, I could Google search and find out how to work, these, like Neri, for example, is now a choice for Pika. And I looked at it and I was like, man, that desktop looks fucking beautiful. I downloaded that shit. I had to turn my computer off with the fucking power button. I couldn't figure out how to turn my fucking computer off. I couldn't figure out how to restart my computer. I couldn't figure out how to open an app. I couldn't figure out how to do fucking anything. Why in the fuck can't these window managers come with a 5-minute video that explains how in the fuck you run these motherfuckers? Because it's beautiful. But I mean, if literally in 15 minutes, if I haven't been able to figure out how to turn my computer on, pushing all kinds of shit on my fucking keyboard, pressing all kinds of fucking things with my mouth, if I can't figure out how in the fuck to use my shit, what the fuck? You know? But I mean, like, for example, one of the biggest problems I've been having lately with Wayland is with Firefox, with tabs. If I say I want to close this tab here that just has my channel content on it, I click the X, closes the tab. On Wayland, after the browser's been open for 10, 15 minutes or so, I can no longer do that. If I have a tab that's open, if I click the X, nothing happens. I have to right click on it and go to close tab, and the tab will close. The other problem is that if I'm having that problem with the tab, I can't type here. You can interact with everything in the web page just as normal, but you cannot type in here. Nothing happens here, and you can't interact with this except by the right click menu. What the fuck? And then I ask other people that I know are using Firefox, and that I know are on Wayland and they don't have the problem. So it's one of those problems that just happens if you have this specific fucking video card, or if you have this specific fucking processor, or if you have the specific Northbridge chip, or whatever kind of scenario, so that it doesn't affect everybody. It only affects some people. But the point is that when I switch back to X11, everything works right. The hugest one for me, the make it or break it for me, is like if I want to interact with OBS, like I can press a hotkey right now and I can bring up my end scene like this. On Wayland, I have to bring OBS up onto my screen, and then I have to push the buttons with my interact with them with my mouse. That's fucking bullshit. And you know, you'll get somebody to say, "I use X Wayland. It's easy." I suppose X Wayland isn't a big deal if you use the flat pack version of OBS. Well, guess what? I don't, and you shouldn't, and nobody should. And this fucking flat pack thing can go fuck itself somewhere. But moreover, it's all these things. When you combine all of these things together, the only thing I found that Wayland offers me personally is a little bit less overhead in a game with OBS. And we're talking when I'm recording in a game with X11, it's costed me 3 to 4, maybe 5 FPS on average, depending on the game. When I'm recording in a game on Wayland, it's costing me 1 or 2 frames per second, sometimes none, depending on the game. Like there's a measurable difference there. I mean, it's not huge. I shouldn't use the word measurable, but it's repeatable. It's undeniable, I guess is how I would put it. But that isn't greater than I can't use my hotkeys. My browser tabs freeze up in this weird ass way all the time, you know, and I don't know. I find like for myself personally that there's just a lot of weird ass little things that don't work right on Wayland. Um, like I'm not right now. Right now I'm at 2560 1440 because I'm on a shitty video card. Um, but when I'm at 4K and I'm scaled at 150%, when I click on flame shot to take a screenshot, it'll put my my screen like a rectangle, not taking up the whole screen. Like it's all fucked up, but when it's on X11, it works perfectly just like this, like it should work. You know, and the other thing is, if on Wayland, if you do this right and then you take a screenshot of your entire screen, these action keys won't be here. I assume they're appearing off screen where you can't see them, but even if you get the optional dependencies for the Wayland Grim or whatever, the optional dependencies for that, it still it doesn't work right. But on X11 here, everything works perfect. So I don't know, you know, and I mean, I haven't heard anybody make a legitimate, you know, I mean, I hear a lot of bullshit, this and that and whatever and so forth. And X11's old and nobody's working on it. And Wayland, and but then I look and find out that nobody's really doing shit with Wayland either when you really look into it. And there's actually seems to be currently more interest in various projects around X11, which is, you know, we'll not get into that. That's neither here nor there, and I don't want to get into that. Um, but my point is I don't think a monumental amount of shit is happening in either place right now. I think the abandonment of X11 is fucking stupid. And you know, I'll be honest, you know, a big thing for me is customizing my desktop, you know, being able to have my windows have effects, you know, and when I close my windows, they have like that kind of shit is important to me. So I don't I don't want to go to a desktop like XFCE or something, you know. I need to have transparency and some blur behind my, you know what I mean? So I don't want to go to a desktop that doesn't have that. So when Cinnamon decides, okay, well, Wayland's not going to be experimental anymore. We're gonna ditch it like everybody else is ditching it. You know, at that point, I'll go back to fucking Windows. You know, at the point where I can't have my fucking hotkeys work for OBS, I'm the fuck out of here, dude. Like I love Linux, like to the point where, you know, even if there's things that, you know, with this video card, especially here in the beginning, I could be in a lot of cases having a better experience on Windows. Maybe not so much now, but you know, a month ago that was definitely the case. But even still, I wouldn't, because I hate fucking Windows. But I'm not in love enough with this to put up with that bullshit. Like I might look at OS X or something. You know, I mean, I don't understand how. Maybe it's because I make videos and I watch a lot of you, but I feel like OBS is a program that a measurable percentage of computer users use. I would bet you, I would bet that 25% of people have used or use OBS during their period of being active with computers. I feel like this is too big of a fucking issue to have something like that not work in Wayland, and people are pushing Wayland and they're disincluding Wayland or X11 in things like Plasma and GNOME, when, you know, there's going to be people that come from Windows to this and decide, oh, KDE, man, that looks a lot like where I'm at. So they install that, and then the shit, this is make it or break it, man. I'm telling you, for people, especially anybody who fucking streams, it's absolutely, it's, you will not interact with this manually as a streamer. You have to, you know, and then you can't just use the other, you know, the other solution on Windows, even though hotkeys is really easy there, is you have a stream deck. Well, you know, yes, you can. Once you get to a certain level of Linux knowledge, you can get things going on with a stream deck. But the new guy that just installed Linux today isn't going to be able to get that going. All he's going to know is his fucking hotkeys don't work anymore, and fuck this shit, I'm going back to Windows. Like, I don't understand why a year later I'm still bringing this fucking issue up and there's still nothing fucking done about this issue. And I seem to be the only person that acts like this is a big fucking deal. It's a big fucking deal, man. Like, the OBS hotkeys, they gotta work. They got to. It has to. It has to fucking work. That's why I'm on Cinnamon. I'm on CashOS. Why would I pick Cinnamon with CashOS? That's the only reason why. And you know, in a month ago, it could have been, you know, the last time I had Plasma installed here with Cache, it could have been. But now it's not there. You know, every distro is doing that. That was what put me off from Nabara initially, was because of the ridiculous choice to use Fedora. Um, it got to a point where literally you couldn't get it. I mean, at least I couldn't get it working right. So I fucking left and I went to Pika OS and I messed around with that for a while. And I honestly wasn't unhappy there at all. And I ended up here. And I mean, literally, I think I've stayed here mostly because of the fact that you can choose whatever desktop environment you fucking want when you install it. So you don't have to have 13 different installers to try 13 different desktop environments. You can just install 13 different fucking times. And the other thing is Octopi. You know, and I've heard positive things about it and I've heard negative things about it. And I'll tell you, there is fucking nothing in the Linux space that even comes remotely fucking close to this. You know, say if you want Discord, you just type Discord, and then you just, you know, I mean, I always tend to go for the one that looks like it's the better one. You know, like this one here to me would indicate, I mean, I would feel like that's the more spicier one. But you just click, you just click install, and then this thing will turn green, and you click that and you put in your password and you're done. And that it's how you get Steam and OBS and all the other things, because they don't make the install all the shit for you part of the install really obvious when you're done. Like it's there, but it's not really obvious. So I can see a lot of users get to the desktop, they've closed that, and then they're like, well, shit, how do I get Steam? One, you open Octopi and literally everything. And that's how I've got everything. And that's kind of the only thing that I don't like about Cashy. For example, I ran KDE Neon for a long time. And one thing that I really liked about KDE Neon is that I had to do everything through the fucking terminal so that I could make sure I didn't get snap packs and all this other bullshit. And I really got to the point where, I mean, I'm not going to say I was very knowledgeable about the terminal, but I really like using the terminal. Like I felt more accomplished when I installed a program through the terminal than through a GUI thing. But Octopi is so powerful that Yast on OpenSUSE was kind of a tease about this. It was sort of like that, or at least it was like a tease of what it could be. And I thought, man, that's kind of cool, but it didn't work as well, and it didn't have as much shit. And like I never, but this, I can't, I can't shake this. I just can't. And then with Plasma and in GNOME abandoning X11 on so many distros now, like it's going to be between this and Mint. And on this new video card right now, I'm not running Mint because I can't run Mint, because when I install, the only way to get it installed is to check to choose the safe graphics option in the beginning. Otherwise, you just get a black screen. And I can get it installed, the video card shit installed afterwards, getting the newest Mesa drivers and so on, to where the desktop looks right and everything seems right. But the minute I try to go play a game, it'll say, yeah, I'll get a warning for it's missing this DirectX 12 component, or this Vulkan component, or this other random whatever the fuck thing. Like I just can't get it figured out yet. So until things catch up with these 9000 series video cards, because I got a 9070 on the way, because this thing's fucking hot garbage. Um, the Yeah, I'll go back to Mint, because Mint is the best implementation of Cinnamon. There's a lot of things that Cinnamon's lacking here, but it's visually it's the most pleasing desktop environment that I don't have to jump through hoops to have X11. Like it's just, that's what this is. And everything works fucking great. I can have my weather here. I can have my processor temperature here. I can have the date and written out in a sensible fucking way. Tuesday, July 15th. Not Windows would say like 7/15/2025, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm ordering something on Amazon, and I'm wondering, why in the fuck is it coming a week from now? And I realized that I'm reading it thinking that it's the 7th, but actually it's the 15th. I don't understand, like, why they would order or organize the date in an order that way. But I mean, everything just seems to be perfect and make the most sense here. And I just feel like I wanted to rant about Wayland fucking sucking the dick and not being ready. And I wanted to make a video because I hadn't made a video. So I thought I would make a Linux video that probably nobody's gonna watch. So until the next one, see you in the next one.